Hello again. Well, today we're going to pick up the story that we started last week.
Remember, last week we learned that a man named John baptized his cousin Jesus in the Jordan River.
And the next day, John, who's called John the Baptist, mentions to two of his friends, "There goes the Lamb of God," when he sees Jesus walking down the street the next day. And two of those guys go and spend the day with Jesus. And then one of them, whose name is Andrew, goes and finds his brother Simon and says, "We have found the Messiah." And you're thinking, Simon? Andrew? Oh yes, you're right. This is Andrew and his brother Simon, whom Jesus gives the nickname the Rock, or Peter in the way we translate it from the Greek.
Jesus decides he's going to go back to Galilee. He has been down where John has been baptizing, near Bethany beyond the Jordan River.
Jesus then asks Philip, who's from the same hometown as Peter and Andrew, if he'll come with them. And Philip rushes off and gets his friend Nathanael to come too. Now Nathanael is from a town in Galilee called Cana. So it's been 3 days. They're back in Galilee.
And it turns out that there is a wedding going on in Cana.
And Jesus' mother is going to be at the wedding. And Jesus and his disciples are coming too. So it must be Peter and Andrew and Nathanael and Philip, right? Well, they're all at the wedding and having a great time. And well, you've been to a wedding, haven't you? Well, if you haven't, it's like, yes, it's a big deal, right? There's usually a cake and sparkling juice or wine or bubbly and all kinds of food, and it's a big party, right?
Well, it wasn't much different back in Jesus' time. A wedding is a time for friends and family to get together and celebrate.
So, they're at the party, they're having a great time,
and they run out of wine.
And Jesus' mother turns to her son and says, "They have run out of wine." And Jesus looks at his mom and says, "Mom, why are you asking me? What do you expect me to do? It's not the right time, Mom."
But Mary just turns to the servants and says, "Do whatever he tells you to do."
Well, it turns out there's some very large stone jars that are kind of sitting to one side, and they're full of water, and they're used for clean washing your hands.
And Jesus says, "Add some more water so they're filled to the very top."
And they do so. And then he says, "Take some out and serve it and give it to the steward, the guy who's in charge of the party." So the servants do that, and they bring a cup of the water to the steward, and he takes a sip and he goes, "Whoa."
And the steward goes straight to the bridegroom and says, "You've kind of done this backwards. Most people serve the good wine first and keep the ordinary stuff until later."
And the bridegroom and his bride were probably baffled by what was he talking about. But they went ahead and served all this great wine
and partied on.
And only Jesus' mom, the servants, and Peter and Andrew and Nathaniel and Philip knew what he had done. And the writer of the book of John says this is the first sign that Jesus gave, that maybe he was not just an ordinary man.
I wonder what his mother, Mary, was thinking.
Was she thinking of the angel Gabriel and the shepherds and the wise men? Does she know exactly who her son is? Yes, he's a Messiah, but the author of the book of John wants us to make sure we understand that Jesus is a man, but he's also God at the same time. Kind of cool, huh?
So I'll see you next week, and we'll have another story.